guess who's been Zach? I know you've been waiting oh so long, been starving like Marvin for a Quabana Pone. What up, what up, what up, what up?
Jack.
We back. What up, man?
Hey, you better believe it, Jack.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Quabby, the young guru, what's happening? Man, it's a movie. It's a movie, man. We got some love in the building today. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. It's Happy Tuesday. What's up, man? How you living? Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hey, that was my favorite show.
That was my show.
Venus Flytrap.
Yeah.
Coldest cat ever. Venus Flytrap. What's up, family? It's your man, Carbon on this, and I'm back in the building. I'm good. I'm glad, and I'm so happy I woke up this morning. Listen, kings and queens. Anybody asking, where you was at? Is anything going on? Let me address this. They say the elephant. Why are you not at 860 no more? Of course I'm at 860. Why was you at? I do so much across the country. I have been in schools. I have contracts in schools. I have to be at places I have to speak at. So that's what it was. So please stop the .com, the Indian.com, the messy. I know what happened. You don't know what happened. Nothing happened. I'm here. I'm with the fam, and it is good to be back. I got a special guest in the building. And shout out to Carvey for making that flyer. It said, Qua will be back. I felt like it was the return. That's what it said. The return. So listen, family. I hate to sound like my man on the TV show when he say, "Did you miss me?"
Did you miss me?
That's the classic Martin and Tommy Davidson. Did you miss me, Snooky? All right, Snooky.
Goldfish. He got
Snooky.
goldfish.
Got a pond right there. What he say? You got a whole pond. We just flip it, snap it.
Full of goldfish.
Oh, man, it is good to be back, family. I see you got the backdrop back there, man.
Hey,
all
man.
right.
Hey. Here, man. I figured, man, if I'm gonna look at, we gonna look at who, we might as well look at who in the style.
Let it be love. Let it be love. Call in and talk to me. I know so many people was like, "Why?" I would say, and I got another, I had that another moment where somebody was like, walking. I was coming out the grocery store. And it was like, Brother Qua. I was like, "What's up?" On the porch. I was like, on the porch. A little slab stance. On the porch. I said, on the porch. So I went to the picture with him. So shout out to my man over. I was at Syndic's. Brother said, Brother Quas. Oh, what's up, man? So shout out to him. I forget his name, but he gonna call in. Shout out to Momentum and anybody out there looking and listening. Yes, family, we are back. I just had some prior engagements that I had to take care of, and I was not able to link back in. So that's what it was. So, man, listen, man, I got a great show today. I got a great show coming up throughout this time. And I'm going to shout out a whole bunch of people. So, man, I ain't did this in a while, man. I want to just do this little thing, and then I'll get into it. I know we usually do 3, but I just want to get this going, man. I feel like I ain't been in my seat in a while. I understand what a pastor feel like in his pulpit. I ain't been in my seat in a while. So, and I just felt like a little Pentecostal when I did. I ain't been in my seat in a while. I ain't been in my seat. I ain't had my bell over here, my chips over here. This is a We Black we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. I got my book. We ready, King? Hey. I ain't did this in a while. I feel like it's the best, and my voice is fresh too. Let's get it. Engine number 9, like on the New York transit line. Like if my train fell off the track, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Let me hear that music, man. Turn that up, man. I just had to hear that. Sounds good. Check it. Sounds good. Sounds real good. Say it. Sounds good. It sounds real good. Sing it. It sounds good. It sounds real good. Sing it. It sounds good. It sounds real good. Sing it. It sounds good. And it sounds real good. What's up? Call in and talk to us. Just do that favor. Call in and talk to us. Listen, family, we are glad to be back. Popping our Anton Nixon, you listen to the best show you can ever hear. Ooh, I saw that, man. That was drop right on time, Doc. You can humble that a little bit, man. Go ahead, man. See? Oh, we in it, man. We gonna have snipers in a minute. Now we got instrumentals. They don't have any idea, man. It's over with. You let that rest in peace, Jay Dilla. That's that comment with Jay Dilla. We got that bounce a little bit.
Oh, that was my joint.
Oh, man, I listen to it every day. A skinny dude. That's what he say.
Came back home. Now I gotta pay back loan.
Same. Stay on. Yeah, I know it, man. We gonna have that. We gonna have people call in if they know the lyrics, man. Hey. So while I'm on, man, let's take me down, King. So listen, I have a special guest today. I'm gonna announce the guest, but I want to do a couple of things, man. I want to shout out the other day, my wife and her rushing and movement. Look at that. Oh my God. Deidre said they jumping in the car. We rocking. See, we back. We back. Man, can I get a clap around here, man? I took a clap right here, man. 10 toes. 10 toes.
Took and told you.
Man, listen. We are live. We rocking already. Carvey saying it's a movie. I am glad to be back. Feels good. Listen, this weekend, the wife was saying she had like 3 graduations to go to. I had 2, and it was a whole bunch. She's like, oh my God. She's like, it's so many graduations. I'm tired of them. I said, hold on. And I know she was playing. I said, wait, I would rather have more graduations than more funerals.
Come on, Don.
So I want to shout out all the mothers and the fathers that I seen at the graduation. I went to MATC graduation. And I'm gonna shout out my young men. But when I saw 2 mothers, Jessica's sister was there, right? When I saw those mothers and fathers crying at those graduations, that's the type of tears I want. Those are the type of tears I want. When I saw my man, I saw this young brother, he ran out great sight. He ran out of the auditorium after it was over. His dad caught him in his arms. This wasn't no little guy. His dad caught him in his arms, and they was teared up. I just sat there. I didn't take a picture of it because that was a moment, but to see that, I heard him say, his dad said, son. That's all when I turned around, he came out. Dude had to be about 20-something, 21, 22 years old. And then seeing the sisters who were in the program for like cosmetology, just to see their celebrations. I saw a young lady, she went back to school. She had to be about 60-some years old. And she was telling the story. She went back to school. She wanted her grandson to see her complete college.
That's awesome.
So I mean, it was an amazing weekend for me. Shout out to my little niece Paris in Chicago. She graduated like a 4.0 student.
Ooh,
yes, she graduated. Yes, my little nephew Nunu Kewan Walker, a junior, he graduating. My little and I gotta shout out my young brother. So I'm gonna do this really special. They were here on the radio. You remember Carvey, Malcolm and Vari. They were from MATC. MATC squad came on, and these little brothers, I saw them speak in January with Pastor Lanier at the first all-black male meeting, right? And I was sitting there blown away because I'm gonna be honest, I was like, man, youngins, I speak to youngins every day, but I thought cats had given up, they would have fallen to the life. But I heard these little 2 brothers speaking about their life. Malcolm said, man, where he come from, the block he live on, what he dealing with, Vari, his mental health. I was so blown away. I was like, man, I want y'all to come on the show. They came on here and they laid it down. They came on here and they laid it down, man. So, man, they going to South. They going to HBCU now. Yes, in North Carolina, man. They Malcolm, they had their joints on, man. So my scholarship going to them.
That's
my
awesome,
scholarship going to them this year. Nice. Yes.
That's
So shout out to mom. That was Jessica people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So with all they lost, it was good to have that, man. And the young lady who was murdered, her name slips and I find it, who her body was dismembered.
Brianna.
Her family came on stage for her.
Oh, wow.
Her family came on stage for her. Everybody stood up. Get a little emotional. Everybody stood up. Everybody clapped. They gave her nothing but love. And they said great words about her and the young brother who lost his life in a car driving accident. Somebody ran a light and hit his car. His brother came and stood for him, and the whole audience stood up, man. And it was just beautiful to look out there and see that type of energy. We just need to highlight that as much as possible. So all the cries I heard this weekend, all of the tears I heard were all cries and tears of joy. Because I saw, and shout out to my little niece. Not little no more. She grown. Bria is a nurse now. She official nurse. Graduated from UWM. Man, it was that type of week. David Bowen graduated from UWM. Awesome. Man, I had a weekend. I had one.
Hey, man, since we sending out shots, I'm sending a shout out to my niece Tatiana right out.
Yes.
She graduated. I want to say either pharmacy or pediatrician.
Come on.
But yo, Uncle, love you.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I'm proud of you. Keep working hard, and shoot for the stars, man.
Man, listen, so let's do this too. While we got a topic we on today, and I'm gonna announce the topic because I want everybody on when we announce the topic. But this is what I want to do. If you got a graduate out there, if you got a graduate out there in your family that graduated and that's on their way, I want you to do me a favor. Call in and talk to us. Oh, what up? Look at that. Marcel, welcome back. What's up? Welcome back, Carter. Oh, my cousin said happy to have you back. Listen, if you got a graduate in your family, 8th grade, high school, whatever, you want to call in and shout them out today at 414-444-5250. Please call in and shout them out. Because listen, we celebrating futures, not funerals.
There you go.
We have enough funerals in our city. We have enough, and it's enough negative things going on. I don't dismiss them ever. But I try to talk about much light as I can versus the darkness. So if you got somebody that graduated, man, shout them out. Please do that for me, man. Please do that for me. Let us know. 414-444-5250. And I was in Chicago. I did a class in Chicago with about 20 to 25 young men of color. And I have to say, the young man said, "We gonna die young. That's just what it is." That's what he said when I walked through the door. When I left the door, he said, "I think I'm gonna live a little bit longer."
Oh,
Wow.
man, that
He said, "I'm gonna live a little bit longer."
Wow, that just did something to me, man.
He said, when I walked in the door and I was talking, I had him go around the room. I have a moment where I tell him something. He said, "We just die young, man. That's what it is. I'm in Chicago." And the other little dude said, "Man, that's what it is." I said, "Okay." I never debate with him because we've been young. I never debate with him. So, okay, I let him talk. By the time we got done with the session, an hour and a half later, he walked over to me. It was like I almost ran out the room because it was so emotional. But he said, after a while, I think I'm going to live a little bit longer. Right?
Yeah.
We gave him a lifeline. So I said that to say, we measuring lifelines today.
Yeah.
We measuring the good of what we have. We measuring the work we do, because never think the work you, and it's hard in our community. It's hard, all of us, Laverne work, all of us doing what we do. Minister William from the Nation of Islam says, to love our people, to work with our people, you got to love them more than they love themselves. Yeah. Because so much pain, so much trauma, so much displaced anger, you got to love them more than they love themselves. Last night, we did Real Men, Real Talk. And the last night, the topic was, which is going to take into what we talking called, I am not enough. When black men don't believe they're enough. Yep. And you would be surprised, man, how many grown adult men who are successful, who sit in the room and say, I don't think I'm enough. And say it unapologetically.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that feel that way. You know, some of them are labeled as damaged people, but the sad part about it is they never seek healing, and then they go on with life and damage other people. So now it's a domino effect.
Yep.
So it's like after a person is damaged and you don't seek healing and you go damage the next person, who's responsible for their well-being?
Did you say they passing it along, man?
Oh, man, it's like, you passing it down and then it becomes a domino effect. Right. So now that next person hurts the next person, and it just keeps going to the point that now you got a whole damaged community.
Yep. Well, King, before we get to what we do, I'll do this then. If you can, Carvey, if you can give me that beat back that we had. I want the first one we had. I want to take us into what I say. So for anybody that's out there concerned, 10 signs you will be successful in life. 10 signs that you will be successful in life. Number 1, you got grit and determination. You never quit and you go up the hill no matter what. Number 2, as Jermaine, we had a meeting, you said you embrace change. It's gonna happen. The season's gonna come, the weather gonna change. It's gonna be hot one minute and cold the next. Whatever it is, embrace change. Life happens. The seasons change, so we have to. It says number 3, you are comfortable with discomfort. Growth and comfortability don't go together. Yeah. You can't be comfortable and grow. You gotta have some discomfort in your life. So if you want to get that shape, you can't eat that other bag of potato chips. Come on. All right? And you can't hang out with so and so that day. because it said it's gonna be discomfort. It's gonna hurt a little bit. It's supposed to. That's why they cry at the end of the championship because of all the discomfort you had to go through. Number 4, optimistic outlook. You ever had the moments when you're thinking negative, you see the worst case scenario, you amplify it. It's this big, but you turn it, oh my God, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. That's what the young man said. He said, I don't think that's what we supposed to do. We just die. He had no vision. We got done. He said, I think I'm gonna live longer. Gotta have an optimistic outlook. You don't have to be toxic positivity. Like if something is happening, it's bad. If you got cancer, right? You have to get treatment. You have to go get work. You can't just say, oh, God got me, I'm gonna pray it away. There's things you still have to do. Be optimistic and face it. So optimistic outlook on life that I'm always gonna get through it. Number 5, oh, I hope everybody feel this. Goal oriented. You have to have goals. You got to break it down. Carby shook his head, my man. You got to know where you're going. If it's a race, you got to know what the finish line. So you got to have the goals. Goals are important. They say goals without dreams are just conversations. So put your goals and dreams together. Yes, yes. Go. I'm on the roll, man. I'm feeling. I mean, like, man, I told you, man. I'm back in my chair. I'm in my chair, man. I'm in my chair. I'm in my chair. Number 6, ability to say no. Ooh, Vern, we got to. Yeah, hope. See, you got to say it's hard, but you got to learn to say no. If you say no to them, you say on to yourself. You got to learn to say no. No is a powerful word. Takers never get tired of taking from givers, and we always give it. Takers don't say, I got enough. I'm a pastor. They want what more and more and more and more. So learn to say no, and that's to whatever. And the people that are not doing you right, make sure you say no to. Number 7, my whole favorite, resilience. I've never had a tattoo, but on my 55th birthday, on my left arm, I'm getting tattooed resilience. Because that means I get up every time I fall. Black boys have to have resilience. Black children, brown children, young women who have been through things, people, we have to have resilience. Our ancestors were the most resilient people. That's right, they never fail. Number 8, embracing challenges. Life gonna get hard. You're supposed to deal with it. Chumps change, chumps stay the same. Champions take challenges. That's the Chicago West Side saying. Embrace challenges. All right. Number 9, most importantly, self-discipline. Don't discipline them. They say freedom is free. No, freedom costs. And what's the cost of it? Discipline. Self-discipline. That's how you grow. You got to be able to tell yourself, I can do this. I can't eat those flaming hots over there that I want to. And number 10, most importantly, is we get ready to roll to commercial. And I love the music, a lifelong learning. Don't let your education in college stop you from learning life. You are a lifelong learner. My grandmother said, may she rest in heaven, always put your hands in the dirt to touch something that God created. Be a lifelong learner. Don't stop. Read, study, learn. You say you ain't going to college, young person out there, you better be studying life. Talk to people, do the things, make sure you know it. And that's Quabanaz 10 for those. Take us home, man. We be back in a minute, man. We on the porch, pulled up. Laverne Badger in the building. Today is Talent Tuesday. That's what we were supposed to be on. But I wanted to get on the topic of what we just witnessed. What you heard today was the apology that Puffy shared on Good Morning America, I think, and that's been going across the internet. They've been showing it. Several celebrities, male celebrities, chimed in, speaking against Puffy about not standing up, getting on him about his actions. And as this facilitator at this moment, I have my thoughts, and I'll put my thoughts at the throughout the conversation. I didn't want to make a high horse right or wrong. I wanted to look at the whole thing. Today's topic is bigger than Puff. The cycle has to stop. As we know, Puffy, the video shows he assaulted Cassie. Cassie is let me read it right. Cassie Elizabeth Ventura, known as Cassie, is an American singer, dancer, actress, and model born in New London, Connecticut. She began her musical career after meeting producer Ryan Leslie in the late 2004. Cassie is now married, from what I was told. She's married now. And this video surfaced. It's 12 years later, almost 8 years later, 2016. This video surfaced. Now we go back to when he paid the lawsuit, and Puffy, P. Diddy with your Sean Combs got on and said that it's a lie, none of that happened. He denied it, and he said he paid it. Now we were under the impression he paid it because the accusation sometimes, and I'm just speaking, I don't want anybody to think I'm taking either side. The accusation sometimes you don't want the accusation. You rather, I've been told by people of power, of lawyers, sometimes people will pay it so they don't have to deal with it, and it's done. But Puffy stood on there. He steadfast defended himself. And those of us that grew up with the music in the 90s, we were like, that's Puff. I don't see that part of him. Some of us, right? And later on, it came out this right here. But if you go back, it's been bad for Puff for some time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to watch. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get into our conversation. Just hear me out. It's a hard thing to watch because Puffy and I are the same age. We all came up in that era of hip hop. We grew up with him. He grew up with us. The music he played, that's what we wanted to hear. The boots, the fashion, the style. We looked at, that was what the young black millionaire should look like. They were all young men. Puff, Russell was older than us, but Puff was in our age bracket. He went to HBCU. He went to Howard. He was bringing the culture, wearing the HBCU shirts. We were all like, yes, that's one of us. And then he got big. And this young boy whose father got killed in Harlem, and he grew up in that, worked as a intern and became the executive Sean Combs. That's what we loved. He was supporting Howard. He was at the Million Man March. That's what we saw. Mm-hmm. But over time, we have been hearing different things and different stories about Puff. We had heard about these parties. We start hearing about the abuse. We start hearing things. And as we spoke yesterday, some things we said at that time in the 90s, it wasn't apropos to speak on like it is now.
Right.
So it was, if it wasn't dismissed, it was just like, well, we ain't seen it because it's no social media. This is all heard, right? The time moves into hip hop. The lyrics get more misogynistic. The view of women become more idolized, right? Personal, right? Sexualized. Mm-hmm. More and more, we start seeing it. The songs start coming out, and it became glamorized. We get into the 2000s, and Puff is back out. There was numerous allegations about he didn't pay this artist, how he corrupted Usher, and a number of young artists. It started coming out. And then he gets in trouble. He says, Cassie says he assaulted me. He had me kidnapped. Well, let me go back before that. With the R. Kelly situation, eyes start opening, and now people are looking, and finally, Puff says, I didn't do that. I didn't do any of that. And this video comes out. Mm-hmm. And I didn't watch the video. I saw a glimpse of it. I stopped watching. It's watching the video for me is the equivalent, and I'm gonna say this, is the equivalent of watching the movies about slavery and we standing on the auction block getting whipped. It's hard to watch that, right? Because I can't find the resilience in that. Depending on who directed it, I can't find the resilience in it, right? So I didn't watch the video because that's a trigger, and we have enough of that. But from what we've seen, he dragged her, he threw a bottle, he kicked her, he did everything ungodly that you should do to a woman. Puffy has daughters, right? He has daughters, 2 girls, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a mother out there and you're dealing with your sons, and if you're a father out there and you're dealing with your sons, this is a great conversation. And now I go right here to this. After all of that, after everything that went through, everything is being taken. They showed the video. People were chiming in saying what he did, what he shouldn't have did. He was this, he was that. He was a terrible person. I spoke with my good friend Laverne yesterday. Well, she called me and she's like, "Quad, you can't let this go. We have to speak on it." Where are we at in this conversation? If you call in today and we talk about it, there's no question he was wrong. So that's out the door. But I want to speak on how do we break the cycle, the triggers and the warning signs, and what's the difference from Sean Puffy Combs, a millionaire who has the lawyers, to the dude on 18th and Locust who does not have the lawyers? Go ahead, Jermaine.
Just to chime in on the point, his whole apology to me hit me the wrong way. And I've listened to the apology over and over and just listened to it again as it was played over the air. One thing that stuck out to me that he never did was he never apologized to her. He never said he was sorry for what he did. Mm-hmm. So that shows me, and that tells me, you really not apologizing for what you did in your actions. You're apologizing that we saw it.
You got caught.
Right. And you got caught. So now everything you worked hard for, you don't want to lose. Right. You don't want to lose the millions and the billions from your deals. It's leaving. It's over. But if you look at his apology, it makes you ask the question, is your apology because of what you're going to lose? Or is your apology because of what you seek to gain?
What do you mean with that, man? You say to seek
and
the
what
gain.
I mean to seek the gain is because by you apologizing and you with the puppy dog face and I'm sorry and all that other stuff, you want to gain your fans back. You want to gain people to ride with you, to see the sincerity in your apology.
Right.
But for people that's really looking at the situation and dissecting it after hearing it over and over, it makes you say, well, are you really sorry for what you did? Because if you were sorry for what you did, you would first apologize to her, then to women. If you wasn't really doing the apology for gain.
So you're saying he never said her name?
Listen to it.
Yeah, he never said her name.
He never said her name.
He never acknowledged
He never acknowledged her.
Right.
He never acknowledged her. He just said for his action, and he didn't even want forgiveness from the people. He wanted it from God.
He did. So let me say this real quick, man. And you can jump right back in. Miles Duke just chimed in. He said, which again, he says he wouldn't even apologize if the tape was never leaked.
That part. So absolutely. That's why I'm saying, is your apology
sincere?
Is it because you got caught? Or is it because you're truly sorry for what you did to this young lady?
Go ahead. So let me introduce. So I'm sitting here, our guest. Let's give man some real love talk with that, because I'm gonna come back and visit that. I'm sitting here with Laverne Badger from Exposed. Laverne is a survivor of domestic. Am I correct?
Thriver. I like Thriver.
Thriver. That's why I got Thriver. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I got that word right, because I know we've had that kind of a Thriver. And she took the pain of that and turned it into promise by helping others, walking away, and healing. Wrote a book, has the exposed group. They go and they help young women. They go into schools. So she took what turned to be a tragedy and turned it to a triumph. So let's give it up for Laverne Badger, our guest in the studio.
Oh,
all right, who right now. So Laverne, so everybody knows, I got a call from Laverne yesterday. We talk on a regular, but I got a call from you saying, Qua, I don't know what your topic is, but this needs to be the topic, right?
Right.
Laverne, everything Jermaine was saying, you was going to chime in on that. And then once you chime in on that, I got a specific question for you. Shout out to Crystal and shout out to Lena.
So yes, let me speak. Thank you for making this happen. And to go back to what you were saying, I never watch videos like this, right? Never, ever watch them because I know they're triggers for me. And something had me watching this particular video, and it did what it did, was triggered me. I mean, so much so that I could see my own face and her being dragged. Like it was that real, all the gestures, the pulling, the drag that has happened to me. I could see myself in that. And so I'm like, I was angry and I was hurt at the same time for her. And I'm like, but this is bigger than Diddy, right? But it's getting highlighted. So let's have the conversation about it, right? So, and then just jumping off of the apology. No, that's not an apology. So if you know what domestic abuse is, you know there's a cycle of abuse, and part of that cycle is the honeymoon stage. It's that apologizing stage. So I'm gonna beat your butt, and then I'm gonna turn around and apologize, right? That's what that felt like to me, is that you're beating us up as the community, as your fans, as that, and say, and now you're gonna come back and say, I apologize. Who are you apologizing to? You didn't mean none of that.
You didn't see no, you saw no sincerity.
Nope.
You saw no, you say, so you go back and you saw that it triggered you, but you say you saw no sincerity. As a woman who's dealt with that and who teach women, hearing that apology, and you say that's a dance that happens, what should have been, how it should have been, how it should have been, and what did you see? What did you see when he was giving the apology?
What I saw was somebody who routinely knows what to do. I'm gonna abuse you, and then I'm gonna come back with empty apologies, right? Empty apologies, because he didn't mean it. His first gut instinct was to get on the live when this all broke, was to say I didn't do it. Yeah, that was who he really was. The cockiness of the dancing around on the live, the video. That's who he really was.
So it wasn't. So when you say that's who he really was,
that was
like,
real.
So you going what Maine said? It was like that wasn't. That was for the fans, because this is Puffy who danced. So there's no the vulnerability. There's no real vulnerability.
No, that was the arrogance of him, of it all. That was the outcome of being able to get away with something so many times over all the years. In that moment, I felt like he was like, this is gonna blow over just like all the other things, because we know she's been abused for years, but even before her was Kim,
which we've forgotten about, based on, I mean, until this came about, and they've told stories about Kim, and we're gonna get into that. So you said, and you seeing it, so it's just a dance. You say he wasn't vulnerable. He just that was a part of, I do this anyway.
And then somebody probably stayed in the background trying to hang on to some of his businesses and partnerships and things like that, where, okay, you need to go. So he might have been feeling something, but it wasn't empathy for or sympathy for what he did. It was, I'm about to possibly lose everything.
So let me ask you this. So you watching this as someone who's a thriver and been through, you say you went, when you watch this, and I know it had to be hard to watch. When you watch this and you say he pulling her down the hallway, you there now because you've been there.
Yep.
When you watching this, what's emotions going through you while you watch? Because you watching this like he apologizing. I heard Jermaine. I could tell just from the way he was giving the answer just now. He was mad, no anger. It was anger. I'm not buying it, right? Yep. As a man, right?
Yeah.
You a woman and you work with this. What you watching when he going and he's saying it? He looking in the camera. It's in the eyes, right? Like it's you can see straight through. You can see straight through that. That is not anything that was going to make me change my mind of what I saw. So you gonna try to gaslight me. So that's where the gaslighting comes. You're gonna try to gaslight me and make me think that you
you sincere about this apology? No, you're just not. Your body language, your eyes, how you looking, they probably said wake up and go out there. You know what I'm saying? That's how you, because then when it wasn't because you were crying all night, you hurt by this. To me, he should not have said nothing. Because to me, if I'm Cassie, is that you re-traumatizing me? Stop talking about me, and while you're trying to defend yourself, because that is what you've been doing.
So I never looked at it as you say. That's even more because she got to hear this.
She got to hear that.
She's seen you did this to me, and I got to watch you.
Now you want to get on here and get some sympathy.
Go ahead, man. Crystal Ship. I just want to be trans. Crystal Ship said, "Same Laverne." Crystal, a good friend of ours, listen all the time. Crystal says, "Same Laverne Badger. It took me back and triggered me, but it also reminded me of the miracle God performed. God performed. I was in that chat of Homo Blow speaking about it the other day. The healing journey is a lifelong, similar to grief."
Yeah.
Wow. Go ahead, man.
So my question is, by Puffy being a figure that he is, video coming out like that, it's all over. So now she's seeing it and reliving it all over. Do you think it would have been best for him, even if he did choose to apologize, to make the apology about her?
No, I think he should have just left her alone. And he probably didn't say her name because he probably legally can't say her name or something. You know, I feel like there's something behind that. But you're somebody who manipulates and all of that. Like that woman is I think it was 2019 where she finally broke. She's married, right? She's married. Leave that woman alone. The only thing I think that the lawsuit was even brought up is because I heard that there was things that he was still trying to do to her.
Yeah, he was. So the lawsuit came because they said he was still trying to connect. He was still trying to collab. And finally, somebody from her camp, the lawyer, according to the story, I'll pull it up, said, cease, like a cease and desist almost. Leave us alone. Don't say our name. Just leave us alone.
Right.
Okay.
And again, the arrogance is saying, I own that. I can control that. Y'all aren't going to do anything to me. I can't be stopped because he's done it to multiple women.
Been part of it.
People have said what he's done. Yeah. He has these parties where it's been heard to be abusing women in multiple ways, and nobody is saying anything. The few voices that you hear over the years, it gets paid off. The money is long, right? So when your money is long like that, you get to shut people up. You get to hide secrets. And so when he kept going, oh, you think, and she in a healthier place to say, oh, you think I'm playing with you.
Does that happen in our? Because I hear what I'm saying is that when you get to that point right here, Lena Ramirez says he is a predator point blank, a predator point blank, period of women, men and women, or whoever else he can get his hands on. A truly broken soul causes havoc wherever he goes. Listen, and you said, no, when you're done, don't, I don't want to hear it. Yep. I don't want to, because I'm listening to you talk and you're almost clearly there's no apology. Stay where you are. Yep. I don't want you anywhere near me. Yep. And you hurting me by even saying, I want to talk, because he said, do they still think they have a power? That's what I'm asking. Absolutely. Do men who abuse or those people who abuse still think they have the power to be like, hey, it's not that bad? Absolutely. I think they still have that, feel like they have that power if you're still kind of communicating or indulging them in certain things. That entertaining, doing, just a thought. Yeah. Even if you're just having a little bit of control. The emotional abuse that you instill in somebody over the years, if we're saying 10 years, it's going to take a lifetime to undo that. It's never going to be undone. There's always she can be in a whole nother marriage, but when you hear his voice, I bet her whole body probably shivers, right? Because she's been because I'm in a safe space. I'm in a relationship with somebody who loves me. But if she hears his voice, there's still probably some part of her that is afraid. Although and then if she knows real stuff about the rumors about he can get to you based on the money that he has access to,
Oh yeah, that's real.
And they actually, and as Crystal said again, it's all about power and persuasion.
Yeah.
Yesterday when we were talking, we talked about being able to get away with things, right? Puffy at one point was the pride of a number of things. I'm just saying, Howard University, right? He spoke, he's an honorary, right? They're talking about taking the key to New York City from him, right? You stated about people speaking up, right? And then some people being quiet, right? What would make, if you watching the video and you watch it, right? Is there arrogance in men or young? Is there, I won't say boys, because boys it's something learned. Right. So let's stay with the abuser. Is there arrogance that he show? Is there arrogance in them where at like him, I can get away with this because he got the money.
Right.
Right. I can get away with this. I'm so and so.
Right.
And that's just, he's a music mogul, but I mean on the everyday person. So before you answer, listen to this. Carvey, can you, because this is why I want to get in this, I want to go in this part now. Carvey, there's a video by Eric Michael Dyson, right? And they asked about it. Hip hop, before you play it, hip hop, we tied into hip hop. That's the easy. I'm just gonna be honest. The easiest thing to do is tied into hip hop. How they treat women, the words that come out, all of these things that are out there, right?
Right.
We say this, right? So as soon as it happened, the first thing said, that's that rap music. I want to play a part of this video from Eric Michael Dyson. Go ahead, Carvey, when you're ready.
Wow.
Now, again, that's why. So we'll go into this thing about the power. I'm sorry you couldn't hear it on Facebook, Rich. So what we'll do is when we go back, we'll try to play it. We'll try to put it on the screen so Carvey could play it if people could hear it. What it basically stated, Eric Michael Dyson said that it's easy, if I can sum it up, he said it's easy to speak about the misogyny of hip hop and what Puffy did is unforgivable. It's what it is. We saw it. He dehumanized her. But he also said, now let's talk about, if we can, the hierarchy and those people from pastors to men of executives to other men in power who do the same, who have done the same thing as Puffy did. And I want to go to that part to you, if you can. Anyone can call in. The arrogance and the power. Why do they feel that they can get away with it. His story is one. Puffy got caught. But then there are stories that we've heard from pastors, from women, first ladies. Yep. There are stories we've heard from women who are married to a CEO. There are stories we've heard of prestigious women. I mean, women married to prestigious men, ex-presidents' wives who have had these same things. Mm-hmm. Why do you think we were allowing these things out? Go ahead, Carvey. Put in your mic over there, Carvey, please.
I would make this point right here because I feel us as men, since we know we are already, we got the masculinity and, the male part of things. It just put us like in kind of like an authority a little bit because for one, sometimes we most of the time we the providers, most of the time we the leaders, and most of the time we just like the structure for what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of times people take that to the head.
The men do.
And it's like leverage. Which there is no leverage. Everybody is equal. Well, like we got our own differences, but we're equal as human.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Let me ask you this before you go. Carvey, you how old are you? 20 now, right? 19, right? And you 19. Watch this. Did you see the video?
Yes.
You got sisters, right?
Yes.
You got mothers?
Yes.
You're a rapper too, right?
Yes.
You around conversations possibly where boys talk about what they will do?
Yes.
Right? Tell me what you take away when you watch it. And you're almost not, and I don't want your answer, and I'm gonna have to say it this way. I don't want it to be to make me appease me, but young Carvey,
what did I take from that?
What did you take from it? And men and your young brothers in your generation,
honestly, I would say I feel like it was more to it behind just in that video. Like I feel like a lot led up to that specific moment. Not saying I'm trying to protect him, but I'm saying that it had to be more than that.
It say something been going on for some time.
Just like I'm sorry, Miss Laverne. Mm-hmm. So like Miss Laverne was saying, like I don't know, I can't even quote because the video is just like it's disgusting. So it's just
and you're watching it. What do you think you're an MC, right?
Yeah.
Where do you put that in your rap? Not in your rap, but like when you watching this. This is Puffy. One of his lyrics said, "I pimp so hard, I drag my mink on the floor." And then you know the song I'm talking about where he says, any chick messing with me, believe me, it's a privilege. Yeah. I won't be satisfied to all my hit it.
That's the leverage part I'm talking about. Okay. You see how like he obviously up. He's
the bravado.
He's the big top dog.
Yeah. He's a big fish and small.
So yeah. When you living with that kind of status, it's leverage.
Right? I can do this.
Yeah, I can do this because if anything go wrong, I can back it up.
And to piggyback off of what he's saying, I can understand that because when you're having money and you in position of power, but not only that, you got people on your team that has money that's in position of power. Yeah. Now you start feeling like I'm untouchable. Yeah. Can't stop and won't stop. That was his
thing. And let's be honest, there are ex-presidents and celebrities and people that hung out with him. I'm just saying that hung out with him, that okayed it, right? That laughed at his jokes, that
went to his parties.
That went to his parties. But I mean, on the parties are the parties. But the most say that again. There we go.
Silence is accepted.
Yeah.
Speak to that.
When you don't say anything and you see something, you're saying what I just saw is okay because I'm not going to say anything. If you still coming around, you still getting benefits from being around him,
taking the pictures,
going to the parties, vacationing. That's you saying that I accept that behavior. Oh, I'm disgusted now.
But that's hindsight, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you I'm hindsight. So go ahead, Carl.
Let me
go because she was going to speak to you. Go ahead. Wait, let her speak to you, guys.
So I'm glad that there's a young man here to get his point of view on what this means, right? And so what you were talking about is what I heard you say is basically is a man is the head, and some men, unhealthy men, toxic men, are taking advantage of being. Now, I think the makeup of a family is the man of the head, but it doesn't mean that the man of the head needs to be abusive, right?
Exactly.
So when you talk about the Diddy's and the Tyrones on
the low end, that don't have the resources. Tyrone had the resources.
But Tyrone is trying to create that same level of control and power at his level. What he has control over in his home and his children and his small community. He's doing the exact same thing. Puffy just has more people to do that, resources to do that. And it takes him longer, or someone like him, to get caught up in his stuff, right? Versus the one who doesn't have the money and the resources. But they are absolutely trying to do the same thing.
So you're saying it's no different. It's
no different. Both of them are broken. One just has money and the other one doesn't.
Well, okay, no. Why would you say they're okay? So let me do this.
Let me say this. The way that you and act that way.
Simone Kilgore, my good Simone, therapist Simone says we also need to stop protecting men we know locally in our families and our communities. We are part of the problem. So when you say broken, if we say this, I put a stat out once. I said hurt people, broken people, broke people. Yeah. So somebody say, ain't nothing wrong with him. He broke. He just jumped on her. You taking it a deeper. Why would you say he broke it? I get you. Right. But there's someone out there that immediately go, no, he shouldn't have did that. Ain't nothing broken about him. Ain't nothing hurting about him. Why would he do that to that woman?
Because he is. You can't tell me that a rational person, a healthy, healed person is going to make a decision to hurt somebody to that magnitude, right? And even, let's not talk about just the physical, the emotional abuse, right? So you can sit up and tell me that you love me, but you can tell me I'm stupid and I'm scum of the earth, that I ain't never gonna amount to nothing, but you love me. That's how you feel about yourself. So that's the broken part.
That's the broken part.
Shows up and how you go around and you're bleeding. So that's what I always say. Stop bleeding on people, right? So don't put a Band-Aid on it. You need to go have some surgery,
stop the bleeding,
and stop the bleeding.
Totally stop the bleeding.
Yeah. So question for you, my quick question. Now, that is true what you're saying. Now, I also found to be true that a lot of these people, they don't know how to channel their anger. So the first person or the first thing that they're around, they take it out on. And normally it's your spouse, your
the closest to you,
the closest to you. And I believe that, I don't want to put a certain number, but I'd say like 40-60% of it be a lot of built up anger from another situation and not having that channel outlook to release it. Like for me, and there's a difference between being mad and being angry. When I'm mad, I can go around people and they can calm me down. When I'm angry, it's only
the antennas go up.
The antennas go up, and it's only certain things that I can do that would bring me back. So a lot of this stuff too be because of anger that's built up and it's channeled and released wrong. And then they take it out on the woman, which is not right. It's not right.
You take it. So before I hope Simone call in. So Crystal says, my abuser watched his own dad shoot his mother and stayed together, never reported. So his behavior came directly from his trauma. Simone goes further, and Simone is versed in what she do. I just want everybody to know that, and the work she does with the city. Am I correct? With 414?
Yes.
Right. I hope Simone call in 414-444-5250. She says it's neurobiology of trauma, and the body keeps the score.
Absolutely.
The body keeps the score.
Absolutely. Again, bro.
Neurobiology of trauma, the body keeps the score. Right?
Because your queen Tina in the earlier post says that she still has nightmares. Our body records just what she's saying. It records it. That's what triggers are. It's something has affected and brought out those memories, right? In a way,
and it comes back. So as we get ready to go to commercial, we'll come back. So I'm sorry, I've been gone since last week. Don't worry about it. But they say for a man, anger is the quickest emotion we have.
and the most acceptable that they will let,
that's
right?
That's what I mean. The one we accept, the quickest and the most acceptable, meaning that I can't cry, but I can get angry.
Yeah.
Right. I can't hug, but I can get angry.
Yeah.
I can't walk it off, but I can be angry.
Yeah.
And that's acceptable. He hit you, hit him back. Right. You said hurt people. I saw this great quote where it said, if you don't hear the bleeding on you, your blood will reach on everybody else.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Now, when we speak of he's broken, right? Now let's shift it. These powerful men, right, feel like I can get away with it. Puffy says I have the money. What creates this? Am I wrong to call it a false sense of pride or this false mask? What creates someone to think I own you? I can do what creates that? And I can speak from a man's, but from your work that you do, and you're talking to people, what creates this monster of I can do this when I want to?
So I think, in my opinion, it is created and fed. The monster within them is fed by what they continue to get away with. So
even from a boy.
Yes.
So how early Jazzy always says, until we have a conversation with young boys about it, right? Because she made a statement. She said, I've been telling my son to love women, but I should have been telling him to love himself.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. They go hand in hand.
How? Well, if she pushed this little girl down for this, I'm just speaking for those who listening. They push this little girl down. How early should we start this conversation?
When there's a way to communicate that as in the playground at the cousins' birthday parties, the first birthday party, the second birthday party, as young as when they start socializing and understanding, because babies hit.
Right.
So why are they, so we have to interact and get involved in that. By the time they make it to K5, and then there's a boy that pushes a girl down, and we're like, oh, that's because he like you. Remember that?
That's why we hear that all the time.
That's why
he like you.
Or vice versa. Oh, she hit him because that's why he like, can she stop hitting me? I don't want to hit her back, but she keeps hitting. It's the same reason. Oh, that's because she like you. She thinks you cute. No, that's not the conversation. That's not the brush off you need to be having. That needs to be a whole conversation at their level,
right?
To get them to understand that is not what you should be doing. You need to use your words and you need to communicate whatever it is that you're feeling in a different way versus saying, I'm going to hit you or if you reject me, now I get to call you names. Now I can be mentally abusive to you. Right. And not name it that because you think they're too young.
Because they're too young. We'll say that.
Too young.
Well, they just little kids, right?
Right.
Just playing. We got a caller. Hold on, we got a caller on the line. And shout out to Simone. Simone, now the manager of the Aurora. Okay, the Aurora Healing Center, free counseling for survivors. I'm no longer with the city. Sorry. Okay, wanted to support. No problem. Come on, dear. Talk to us. You on the porch with Quad. Talk to us. It's good to hear from you again.
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon. Just wanted to make a comment on this subject. I did see the video, and professionally, I'm a social worker.
King, can you turn your radio down?
Yep, my radio is off.
Okay, all right, cool.
Okay, so I am a social worker. I'm a social worker and a counselor. And I seen the video, and I deal with this a lot when I'm counseling with people, especially teenagers. What I see is a narcissist, and what I see is a boy, whether he has money or not, where if he does not get his way, the only way he knows how to express the fact that he is not satisfied with his situation is with violence. And this is something that many boys do. I was taught when I was a young man that men do what they want to, boys do what they can. In other words, if you can't, a narcissist is a person that if he can't control a person and get them to do and act however he wants them to do, and first of all, he thinks he's right in everything. There is no negotiating my way. It's my way or the highway. But many times with a narcissist, you don't even get the highway. There's no way out when you're dealing with a narcissist. And this young man, if she did anything, said, well, you might be Puffy, but I don't like your shoes today. He will go off and he will attack her. Yep. Because who do you think you're talking to? I am this person and I am that person. Most people who are narcissists and boys, what does a child do when he doesn't get his way? I just heard it said a minute ago, children hit. So what do they do when you take their ball? When another child takes a child's ball away, what do? First thing they do is hit. Because they don't know how any other way better. They're too ignorant to communicate. I don't mean ignorant in a bad way, but they don't know how to communicate and say, hey, I'm upset that you took my ball. Instead, they result as a savage to violence. And then this whole thing about men trying to have leverage, I agree with that young man, but those aren't men. Those are boys. I can beat you up, therefore I can make you do what I want you to do, and ain't nobody gonna stop me because I got money, I got status, I got this and I got that. But I'm gonna tell you, you can be a rich boy in the body of a man. And this gentleman, he definitely, I can't even call him a gentleman, but he definitely has some mental issues. And I don't know where it stems from, but hurt people. There's an issue here, but this is something that has grown from a molehill into a mountain because he has been able to get away with it for too long. No one is above the law, and no one person is better than the other. I don't care if you're a billionaire and the other person is on the corner begging for change. You do not get your point across to anyone by beating them. That's savagery. Even lions in the jungle understand that they don't just go beating up on each other because they know one of them has the capability to kill the other.
It's a consequence. It's a consequence.
Yes, absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
No, thank you, good brother. We stay with us, man. We're gonna have more. So because your work helps, and we're gonna stay with us, please. And I want to expound on that hurt people. Carla, you on the porch with Quad. Talk to us.
How you doing, guys? I've been listening to this with John Puffy Palm, but I look at myself. And I've been in relationships when women they say, if you don't hit me, you don't love me.
I've heard that.
And it's very difficult. It was very difficult for me because I come from a good family. And I've let go a lot of relationships because women felt that way. And when you start beating them, they gravitate more towards you. But this is a sick situation across the board. But I've seen a lot of women turn men into this animal, which is not cool.
You're saying from the actions of you not putting your hands on me so you don't love me?
Exactly.
Okay. Please, thank you, good brother. We're going to build on that. Thank you for your call. Stay with us. So, Vern, you heard a couple of different points of view, and I saw you over here. And my uncle chimed in, and he said, because this conversation is bigger than Puff. Right. And he said, hurt people, right? Every time I talk, there's an origin story. Right. And especially during slavery. Black men could not defend themselves or their women. And if master beat them down so bad, they had to take their pain or something somewhere. Right. And the closest person was, I'm head of this house. Right? I'm the man, right? Yep. And I can't do nothing to him, but in here we do. Yep. So Uncle said it's not just the hurt people, it's a nation full of hurt because they hurt us first. Right. And it goes on down. Two sayings, Laverne, he said, some women, and I heard Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige said in her family, I was looking at this, she said she saw abuse in her whole family. She said she was shown and quietly told, if he not touching you, he don't love you. He letting you do too much. And I'm now I got to speak to this. There are women who say, I need a man who can control me. Right. That can handle me because I'm that type. And lastly is the saying we say, don't hit girl. I don't care what it is. Don't put your hands on women. Please. I got you. I need you, and anybody can call in because those are three things we hear. Right. One, I've heard women say this, young girls in classrooms say, girl, he just shook you. That means he love you. All right. And the second one I said, and that last one, you tell your son, I don't care what you do, if a woman, I don't care what a woman do, don't put your hands on her. Go ahead, man. Before you answer, go ahead, man.
Real quick. I've had a woman tell me, now this is from a personal story. She told me she don't want a soft, and I need you to be.
I need one that can handle me.
I need you to, put me in my place. Then when I act out, I need for you to, stand on me. She told me she want me to stand on her 10 toes down. For me, I'm not standing on you because when I have a daughter, and I would be, whatever word you want to put there, if somebody try to stand on mine, I got 5 sisters that I dearly love. I'm the fool of the family. I'll be doggone if you try to stand on any one of them. So why would I stand on somebody else's daughter?
I got a question with this. Let me ask you guys, the men, right? So I think this is where it's the difference between men and women. So what you all hear is that when a woman says that I want a man to basically hold me accountable, because I think that's what she's saying when she says that she wants me, or are you the women saying put me in my place? I don't know that most women are saying to put me in my place means to physically abuse me, or is it saying I can be a little much, hold me accountable? Right. You know what I mean? Like, are we hearing?
That's when you have to be careful, because there's a thin line between love and hate. There's a thin line. So if you tell a man that really don't understand where you coming from, because you having a conversation, but you telling him you want him to stand on you, you want to put pressure on me, and that's where he comes from, he's going to put pressure from, because that's what he knows.
He hear language. The language he hear. Hear what he heard. So the answer before Simone said to the caller, where he's talked about that a woman can turn these men into something. Simone said you can't turn a man into an abuser. You can't. The other thing is this: when you said that, the scene in Baby Boy. Remember when he's talking to his mom and she say, "Why you got to go deal with another thug, another hard nut?" It's like, "Why you got to go deal with another roughneck?" And she says, "Cause can't no square handle me."
There you go.
I need a man that can put me in place right now. And you asked that question. I personally I don't deal with that type. Because I've heard that before. Like, he can't handle me. I need somebody that can, and that's, to me, you asking for something. That's I think you asking for, because and I don't mean asking like I'm giving, but I'm saying when you say something like that, I need somebody, because you a grown woman, I'm a grown man. My accountability is we gonna talk. I ain't gotta stand on you, because I don't want nobody standing on me.
Right. And I think it's a play on words and phrases, right?
Yes.
I don't literally want you to stand on me or stand on my neck, put me in my place physically to hurt me. There may be, and I've heard the same phrases that you guys have heard from women, but how I always take that from women is they're saying they want a man's man in regards to saying, I want somebody who's going to protect and provide and hold me accountable, hold my household down, defend me when I need to be defended, when I'm acting a fool, to say, okay, protect me in public, but when we get home, I'm gonna be like, you was wrong for this.
That's what I hear.
That's what
you interpreted.
That's how I interpret that. Because I can't phantom in my head that when a woman is saying that's what she's meaning. However, if you all are saying that has been your experience of and the interpretation of what these women have really doing, is that I'm just trying. I guess I'm trying to make it make sense that it may be a communication barrier.
I know what you're saying. Like you're saying, like where you taking it from is like they're saying, hold me accountable.
Yeah.
What we've heard, but what me and Jermaine are saying, we've seen is like I said in the movie Baby Boy, where she said there's a certain type of man, and he's not it.
Yeah.
This dude over here is.
But she even in Baby Boy, she's not saying a lame wouldn't be able to handle me. That's meaning that I don't want to be able to run over you. I don't want to be able to take from you. I don't want to be able to be a pushover.
She called him a square.
Now you have to be, again, that's where I say it's a thin line, because if they say they don't want a square, 9 times out of 10 they want a hood cat. Hood cats do hood things. Okay, so if we gonna be honest and have the real conversation, let's have the real conversation. If you say you don't want a square in their eyes is somebody that's going to work every day, that's bringing you flowers, that's treating you right.
According to
that's treating you right. See what I'm saying? Now, when he too soft for me, man, I need that little spice in it. But then that little spice come with 3 or 4 9 punches to the eye.
Right. But and you can flip it though. So that's that square who go to work every day, who
that they call a square,
that they right, that they call a square. That image of what a square is. He busting your eye too.
I was just gonna say because
he busting your eye, but there may be a street dude who a true street dude, but he takes care of his mama. He takes care of his family. So the street dude doing street stuff still don't abuse women. That's to imply that all street dudes are abusive to women.
Yes, because that's what again with the conversation. That's why we were saying that. What's the difference? We go back to my initial point when I said it has to stop. Meaning, Puffy has millions. He can be protected. So and so on the corner wants, or so and so everyday guy wants the same thing, right?
Right.
But he can't. He doesn't have the access to it, right?
Right.
He doesn't have the resources, right? Laverne, and again, I'm gonna push back to that question I asked you. What do you say? Because this is what we will tell younger. Don't put your hands on a woman under any circumstances, right?
Yeah.
That's the first thing we'll say. I am not here to say there's any advocating that you should, but how do you deal with that? Because you tell a young boy that Jazzy made a great point when she said that I should have been telling my son to love himself,
right?
Versus don't put your hands on a woman. How do you? So what in your work and in your experience, and you have a son, right?
Right.
And you've been through it. What is that damaging, or is that, and I do mean that term, is that damaging or is that teaching?
I think it can be both. Right?
Okay.
It can be both. So that's how I grew up, is that you just say all together, there's never going to be a reason to hit a woman, a female, a girl, right? As time goes on, and what we teach our girls is stop hitting. Don't hit boy. Don't put them in a position to have to defend themselves, right? Because there's a difference between somebody hitting you to be hitting you and somebody defending themselves from you, right? Like 9 times out of 10, a woman is not going to beat a male, right? So, but they get beastie. They think they equal. And we get out of control sometimes, right? So when I'm talking to the girls, is like, if you don't, every boy you dealing with was not taught not to hit you back. And you need to keep your hands. How about everybody just keep their hands to themselves? So what is said now is that unfortunately you still kind of have to have that conversation with the boys that don't hit girls, because no matter what, they're guilty as charged, right? So they have more to lose and have to prove that it was self-defense. Like it's always going to be that reason. Well, you know, you could have stood back. You knew you could have walked away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Solange and Jay-Z and that elevator.
Right.
She did not get the same backlash.
No,
if that was she didn't get the same backlash.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Now we going.
That was bogus. The first thing
we going.
The first thing the women said was like,
what did he do
to Beyonce?
What did he do?
What did he do to her sister? Because you know your sister. I'm riding for my sister, right? It's still, the consequences still should have been taken.
I'm with you, and you know, because I'm gonna say this: just in the society we live in and where we are at times, if I say that, I could catch backlash. But it should be a question of what happened, you know, because if it was getting around, it would have been all over. Not taking either for. I just got a message. Puffy has been dropped. When we come back to commercial, I'm gonna run some. Stay with us, family. We're gonna get into the second half, entertaining, and I say entertaining in the conversation because we get talk to me, man. So I just wanted to replay that video for those who didn't hear. Eric Michael Dyson was saying, as we spoke on here, it's bigger than Puff, and we do mean that. Let me be the one to say that I said it was bigger than Puff because it is. We saw that we got caught. There were people who stood by over the years and have watched. There are people in our communities, families, and there are men we shake hands with every day who we know, and which you should be checking if you have a friend or somebody you rock with who is getting down. Me personally, I do my best. That's not my MO. I can't really shake your hand if I know that's how you getting down. I don't judge people by their last mistake, but I'm very mindful of all of that because if you're standing with them, you kind of with them quietly, right? So I want to speak on two things, especially based off of Dr. Eric Michael Dyson said. Somebody in here said, I will just leave. In the video, in the video, Cassie was running, trying to leave, right? We hear this a lot. Just leave, right? Once before you were on here, you talked about just leave. That's not the most safe thing to do. So talk about the reference just leave, but also there's the fear and the anger of this person. I'm going to strike, the fear and respect, right?
Yeah.
There's a story where they talk about Puffy telling, these alleged things about him with other men, where he says, that's how powerful I am, right? And I can do what I want, right? I'm drunk with this power. And the last part of that is, and we can all jump in on this, Carvey, also, and where does the media play? How does the media play into what we just saw? Not just the leaking of the tape, but period. From the movies, from the music, from both sides, the music, from the TV shows, to all of it. But first, with the main part, I asked you about the respect, and I mean, just leave. Oh, she should have just left.
Well, everybody always says that who's never really experienced it, right? Because if you know it, then you know it's not that easy. The best way I try to compare it to is, I've never been an addict, but of anything. But if I were to compare it to how an addict goes back, get clean, come back, go back, that is kind of how it is. There's a lot, to me, that's how it. If I were to talk to somebody who just cannot connect to it, right? But there's a lot of circumstances. It's the finances. So he controlling the finances.
And most likely he was controlling her career, etc.
Yeah.
And she,
just like P. Diddy, all of her resources were surrounding him. So any movement she was making was tied back to somebody reporting it to him, right? So then you got the kids. So I remember saying for myself, I'm going to endure it because I want my kids to have the original family.
That's the conversation. The guilt and am I say guilt and obligation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That somebody else is not going to love them the way that their biological father loved them. Shout out to Richard Badger, because we definitely know that that's not true.
Shout out to Rich Badger.
He's not a stepdad. He is a father who stepped up. There we go. And so
come on.
And so I believe that, right? So you stay there. Women can believe, like, okay, I got girls. I don't want some strange man molesting them. You get that fear.
The fear
of that,
which is real.
Right. And then I don't have anywhere to go. So it's extremely dangerous that you need a plan. If you leave, like how she left, that is a great example of somebody fleeing.
She was fleeing
in the moment.
Thank you, because she wasn't running; she was fleeing. She was trying to get away.
Yes, she was fleeing. So something happened on the other side of that door, whether it was in that moment or hours before. She was fleeing. She was taking that moment to flee. You need to have an exit plan. That's the best way. But when you are really in danger and you feel like my life is going to be ended in this moment, then you do what you have to do. Right.
I heard a young lady I was speaking to once, and she said she couldn't leave because the man was powerful. He was a certain person in the community. He was friends with this person in the community. So she said in the late hours of the night, it was like slavery. She had to, she found somebody who was not afraid of the person because that person was connected. She literally like slid in the hatchback. Does that play a part too? Because this is so we're talking clergy, we're talking men of influence, right?
Yes, yeah.
Who have because I'm not dismissing the guy who doesn't have the power or the money, but we're saying somebody has the power and the money to do things. Is that serious for where I can't tell nobody? Cassie can't because there's people watching. I can't tell nobody.
Nobody's gonna believe me. If he's out here and he's respected in his own community because he's a pastor of a church, and let's not talk about the mental and emotional abuse that you can't see.
Yeah.
So I can see that he punching you, but he's doing just as much damage when he's mentally and emotionally. So how do I explain that and have people believe me?
Not him, because this is
so. And then he setting you. He does a great job at saying, "Ain't nobody gonna believe you. Don't nobody want you with these kids. They know you're gonna be lying. Everybody." There's many women who would love to take your place,
even with the abuse,
not knowing what it is, right? Not knowing that, and then you're like, all I need to do is just do what he says, do this right, clean up right, take care of the kids right, and you realize it's still
there. Hold on, man. I got it. So women know. I'm not pleasing. I'm just saying this. I'm not trying to, but when women know this is a thing about Puffy. We've been hearing this. This is a thing about pastors. This is a thing about CEOs. We've been hearing this for some time. Why?
Because he ain't gonna do it with me because I'm not her. I'm not her. He's gonna treat me different because I demand that he treats me different.
I'm not.
I respect myself enough where I'm not gonna let no man do that to me. That's that's what it is. And there have probably been some women, and it appears to be J-Lo, if we're talking about him, because she walked away. Nobody ever knows the real story as to why she walked away. It was rumored that was one of the things that she
but
walked
they never
away
confirmed
from.
either.
There will be some women that say, I'm going to stay 10 toes on, no, you're not going to do that to me, even if you did somebody else. But it's more often that, because it doesn't show up that way. It shows up. You show up with flowers. You show up at my office and the trips, the one-way tickets, or the man who don't have all the money. You showing up by taking care of the kids, giving me a chance to rest when I'm tired, rubbing my back, you taking me off these
after the beat,
while I'm falling in love with you. Because if you showed up the way the monster you are now, I'm not staying for that. I just mentioned, no, it's being able to groom you into loving me, supporting me, caring for you. And we always feel, I think what a lot of women feel like it's in our nature to care for. So I'm gonna love you through your pain.
Even the brokenness.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say it's really it really boils down to men, and some men and some women. So they take the conditioning of the mind and they condition the mind to think that they make the person think that they, like she said, she got them falling in love.
Right. I'm not
that dude rubbing your back. So it's just like a woman when she goes to the shop. When she first get there, her hair is a mess all over the place. You get to the shop, you get the shampoo, you get the condition, you get all of that. When it's done, it's a beautiful turnout. You love it. But you have to still take care of you get your hair done. You got to wrap it up. You got to do all of that. So after, what people do is they condition the mind. They get them to the point that, hey, you can trust me. Then I can release who I really am. So then after you release who I really am, who that person really is, the woman is so physically tied because of soul ties, you need a sexual encounter, mentally tied because he wooed your mind. So now you're tied, and so now it's hard to break away from that because you're locked in. And anything that's locked, it takes
work and pressure to pull it away. And that's why some of these women keep going back to what they know, because it's what they know and they don't want to learn anything else because it might be worse than what they're doing.
Exactly. So I know this monster here. I'm afraid I don't know the one that's
I'm
out
okay
there
with this.
And then also being able to, as an addict, I've heard that they're always trying to chase that first high. So in the relationship, we're always trying to chase what it was in the beginning. Can we just get back to where it was?
Even through the broken nose, because blood, you're still gonna get back.
Because right away, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I was angry. My boss made me. It's always some reason.
That's somebody else,
right? Or or if they do express their trauma, it's that's driving me to how I'm treating you, and that very well may be true, but you don't get the right to continue to do it. You have to start getting help. Right?
As you said, the right. Carvey, what was that? Carvey showed me. If you can't, what was that? You said Puffy has been dropped from what? Puffy has been dropped from 18 different brands. He's losing 18 different brands. Laverne, which would take us into what you said: respect versus fear. Right?
So we talked about earlier. I heard somebody saying in regards to being fearful or whatever, and it came to my mind is that everybody wants to be respected, right? But when you start to be abusive with it, you're just getting people to fear you. Nobody is respecting you. You're not being respected. Even the ones who support you, even the ones who are around you, they don't respect you. They fear you and they want something from you.
The fear of you might cut me off. You no longer a part of the
camp. Might tell my secrets.
Right. So
and that goes to the whole bystander. But it's definitely, you can't fear somebody to respect you. You can't bully somebody into respecting you. Either you are respected for what you do or not. The same qualities that allowed Diddy to thrive in business are the same qualities that allow him to be abusive. And what I mean by that is his due diligence, his way.
Consistent.
I'm never gonna stop.
Right.
I gotta keep going. I'm going to get for what is mine. Like that whole thing is
I'll do anything to get there.
Yes. So that could be a business model, but that's where it comes from to say, oh, you put me in the business model, like I own you. So now we're going back to the whole, you feel like you own me.
I'm in charge of this. And it's my uncle texted in about the media aspect of it, right? I'm a firm believer people build you up to not tear you down, but they build and feed the monster, right?
Yep.
And I always go to where I knew people at. Like when you say, dude was a cold-blooded killer, I go back to I knew when he was 10 years old. He wasn't that way. But enough things can happen, right? I said in the beginning, Puffy started in hip-hop with us in the night. We watched him grow. That was, oh man, the young black millionaire. These dudes were millionaires, and we were 25 years old at the time, right? Let's look at hip-hop as they progress. The early hip hop, the Nation of Islam, 5% Nation, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. It was a certain element in it that said you was calling Queen Latifah with UNITY, UNITY. All that was in there. Now here we are where we are, right? Here we are where we are. And Puff, let's just be honest. And I was with it. He ushered in the lavish lifestyle. The caviar, we drinking champagne, we drinking Cristal, we driving boats, etc. Right? Our party with Frank Sinatra. It gave us something. It looked good to be that way, right? And then those very things, because we looked at that. Now we go down now. Nicki Minaj is one rapper. That's her name, Minaj, right? Minaj, right? That's her name, Nicki Minaj.
Yep.
What's her name? Sexy Red, whatever. Sexy Red, right? And then you have now young, and I'm Cassie, right? I want to be on. I want to get on, right? You have these TV shows, Basketball Wives, right?
Yeah.
We got people watching this, right? I'm not giving an excuse, but do you, from your point of view, as someone who thrived in it, and from a musician, all of you, How big of a part does that play? We watched the Mac, right? And they wanted to be pimps.
I was gonna
right?
say, let's go all the way back there.
We watched Scarface and we wanted to hustle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We right now, the most dominant shows on our TVs, Basketball Wives, which Shaq wife should be super mad at herself. She always saying this, but she's a major producer of that show. Love and Hip Hop. Clearly, all those people on there are broken, right? And all these other shows, the new one is The Hustle, where they throwing bottles at each other. I'm gonna get with him. I'll do whatever to get with him. Yeah. Does that play a part into the monster? And let her go, and then you go, man. And Carvey, you can jump. Just does that play a part into the monster?
Yes, because it shows to be profitable. Woo. You got people out there who trying to make a living in multiple ways, because life now has given us multiple ways to make a living. We ain't just got to go to college,
they do all of it,
graduate and do all this. Now we have social media. We can make money on our phones sitting here doing it. Right. So but when something is showing that it works and I can make money doing this, the more foolish, the more dangerous, the more violent.
Yeah.
You ain't giving me no consequences.
Because they'll show that the more whoever is the most toxic on those shows
are the ones who stay.
That's right. You got to be
who get a ticket back to come to the following year. And if you I watch those reality shows too. But if you watch the interviews behind the scenes and stuff, they will tell you that she not gonna last. He not gonna last because she's boring. Right. Why? Because
I'm gonna do it.
But they can't do it if we're not watching it. If we don't watch the madness of it all. Then they not making any money, right? So it's a cycle of abuse that we all in the whole cycle, right? Now, having that footage, when we talk about media, I would say that yes, expose all of that. If it's available to you, yes, it probably hurt her
to see
that, to have that nobody wants that, to be re-traumatized with that. Right. But if that's gonna be the thing that captures the monster, then yes, you should not be continuing to walk around and being abusive to women. And I don't even care if it's black
just women. Period.
Women. Yeah. You cannot continue to profit off of that. So, but where it becomes a problem and why people see it a certain way is that media. The downfall is that abusive behavior and as poverty.
Yeah, they link it to poverty.
They link it to poverty. Unless there's a video like this that shows true proof, it's always going to be looked at as his word against her word if you don't have that proof. So there's more proof when you don't have no money,
right?
Versus the proof might exist when you have money, but I get to pay for it. Right. That's what the other thing, he ain't sorry. You weren't sorry in 2016 because you paid $50,000 for the video to not be released. If you were truly sorry and back then, you wouldn't have did that. You wouldn't have denied that. You wouldn't have. Yeah. So you tried to hide it, but it's one of those things that we have money to hide stuff, and I think the money can be evil if you allow it to bring out that in you. You already that.
Yeah, you already was. They said better than anybody. You was who you was.
Money just allowed you to
comfortable
to do it comfortably and hide it. I bet you, I would wonder what he like. He first did something that was so ridiculous, and he didn't realize how much power he had. So like, oh my God, if they saw this,
they saw this, right.
But then as time go on, and you realize you can continue to pay people off, and the people who
because it becomes. This is what we do, in the book Think and Grow Rich. They say, and I'll let you chime in, you can answer, Joanne. They say in Think and Grow Rich, he says that when men, he just was talking about men. He said when men first walk into crime, the first time they skip, they'll do. Say the second time they a little apprehensive, but they'll do it because of the rush. Say the third time they go find others who do it, and say finally the fourth time they make a circle in a squad, and this is the normal way of life. They rationalize it to the normal way of life, so everybody around is like, this is what we do. He smacked you. Oh, that ain't no big deal. You went to jail. That ain't no big deal. Oh, so you understand? We normalize. Go ahead, man. What you were saying?
Man, it's funny you went there because I was about to say, there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new. And to be honest with you, media has been playing a part in everything that. Because when the movie The Mac came out, we was glorifying pimps.
Mm-hmm.
What do pimps do? They abuse mentally, physically, and this was stuff that because it was shared and put out there, we glorified it to the point that we was going to players' balls and we was celebrating.
We accepted, they glorified it. We
accepted it, they glorified it. Now, after the monster is created and is out of control, and you trying to beat the monster up, but the monster is 39 feet. It's too big for you. Now it's the issue, but this was created
some time ago. So now with that, let me ask you this. And I spoke to you on this yesterday. Anybody that want to call in and say, Quad, don't try to link it with this, but I have to say this. I saw this guy on TV and he said they was talking about R. Kelly. He said, I don't question nothing he did. He said, but I just have to ask, why come he say it seems like each time black men get to a certain point, I'm just saying that the dark secrets start coming out because they are about to cash in. Like they say, Michael Jackson was going to cash in on the concert. According to them, they say Michael. They say he died, but people around him said go the other way because he was going to make enough. I'm just saying he was going to make enough money to pay back, and he'll be done. They say the same thing. Robert Kelly's sex trafficking. I'm not questioning that, but they were saying about the masters, and then even here said, well, Puff is getting close to getting some, so he spoke. Now, what I always have a problem with, if you say it now, you knew it. So you can't tell me. It's like where I come from. You can't tell me so and so was a monster if you was getting money with him.
Yeah. Right.
And you say, man, but whatever he was doing, you was with him when he was doing it, and you ate off of it. We talk about Suge Knight. They'll say, man, he was a monster, but you was in the room when it was happening. And I'm not saying you got to jump up, but if you were there, if you were with me getting dirty, you can't tell on me when you get clean. Because you was just as dirty as me. I don't believe in hindsight.
Accountability for the
I don't believe in hindsight. If you was with me, I believe people have a change of heart. You can't sit there and say, you know, things have changed. Wait a minute. You was with me every step of the way. So this ain't the time. You finna put 50,000. And the hotel needs to be held accountable too. So we come right back, man. Love the conversation. Holla Black.
CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
Love that.
One, two, I had to let everybody know that part. That's my girl Lisa Nichols, and the Queen. She says, "Show the world the best part of you." Right. Um, as we get ready to get up out of here, Laverne, I want to thank you for calling and like while we have to get this topic going. I want to thank the community. I want to thank Mary and the whole 860 family. Man, I want to thank you. Right, Carvey, Debo, all of you. Was out last week and I miss being here, and I'm so glad I'm back here because I feel like these conversations and things we're doing are what our community needs. I hope there were some young people listening, and I hope some parents tuned in, and I hope some brothers and sisters who going through some things. Listen, Laverne, I want you to, as you get out, as you take us home, just do me this favor.
Mm-hmm.
What are the conversations we need to have to break the cycle, and what do we tell young people when it comes to this? Because this, when you watch, we become immune to a lot of stuff. Right. I went to the other day, I was maybe about a year ago, I was doing a class, and I had to bend down and pick up the obituaries, and I had my moment. I finally broke. It finally hit me of all the stuff and the death and everything I had been through. It finally hit me at that moment. Right. So that made me even go harder, showing young men like you don't have to die young, right? Because I'm trying to instill it. What is it, dear, that you want, that we need to do when we're dealing with young men and young women about this whole thing we just saw?
So what I would say is just thank you. And what warms my heart the most is that men are now saying stuff, right? Because iron sharpen irons. That's what you always say. And so it's, moms can't do it. Mom can't teach boys. So if boys are the majority, we know that girls abuse as well. But as long as we're saying it's the bystander, right? Like we gotta be able to shut it down when it can be shut down. It can't always be shut down, but having those real conversations and letting them understand, like, there's consequences to this. This is not, if you wouldn't want it done to your mother or your sister, then you shouldn't be doing it, right? To somebody else. And what we say to girls when we're in schools is that we're fighting for boys by saying to them, y'all need to be accountable for what you are doing, right? Like, you don't get the right to abuse or hit or talk about a boy. You don't get to lie on them. You know what I mean? It's for girls, I think, because girls are always believed. Even when
it's the other way.
And they don't necessarily get that, are not held accountable, right? And so I think what was the missing piece on our side with girls, young girls and women, is that we have to make sure that they are accountable for them. At the end of the day, we all need to be accountable for each other, right? I can't control what you do. You can't control what I do, but I can control what I do. Right. And those consequences are just for me. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Any action to take place on what I do is for me, right? And so if you're saying, oh, I only did it because that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
That doesn't work anymore. So just keep doing what you're doing. I can't even say add something else to your plate. You're already doing something great. You're getting the understanding and you're meeting young men and boys where they are, right? Because if you can get them to the point where they love themselves enough to live, the whole relationship will follow.
Well, let me ask you this. I want you to speak. I want you to speak to a brother to a young lady that don't think she enough, and to a man who may have abused. Is there a way? Is it a way back to redemption? Because I don't want us to walk out of here and say he did that. Now I'm not talking just Puffy, but I'm talking period.
Yep.
Because we are black men in America, and we mess up, we get pulled out the game. There's no is there a redemption? Can they make their way back from this?
Absolutely.
How so?
When it's not forced. When you want to do it and do the work on yourself and change the behavior because you want to, there's redemption in that. That's not because I was told by the courts, not because my corporate sponsors told me to do it and say what I need to say. But when you truly want to say, because we know somebody in the community who has experienced that, and you wouldn't know it because he has made the effort to say that is never happening again, right? That was something I did in my youth because that's what you grew up with and thinking that that's how it was supposed to be. And he's well respected in this community and you ain't heard nothing else, right? And it's not my story to tell, but yes, absolutely. I said, it's not that I feel like we have to understand why it's done, but it doesn't excuse it. It explains it. We need the explanation as to why you're doing what you're doing. And if we understand that, then we can figure out how we can keep it from happening. But redemption is definitely there. And for that young girl who thinks or boy who think that they're not enough, you absolutely are. If you don't, you have to talk yourself into it. When nobody else, when you say that that the community can break you, but if you know yourself, you can't be broken.
Come on.
When you start learning and you don't depend on, because when somebody else builds you up, yes, they can break you down. That's why it's important for us to build ourselves up.
Man, they say
the assistance of something.
They say the queen was preaching today. Let's give Laverne a hand. Let's get up out here. Let's show us some love over here, man. In-depth conversation, so needed, family. So listen, Queen, thank you for coming on. Deidre said you preaching today. Mama Banks said you preaching, man. Thank you, King, for so many things. I do mean that. It's so good to be back, family. So let me close you out the way we come in. Listen, as I said earlier today, over this weekend, we had the conversation. My wife said, oh, it's so many graduations. I said, well, it's better that we have more graduations than funerals. We are on a mission to have futures and not funerals. Shout out to my little cousin, Keywan Jr., who graduated. And I just want to say this. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't look at the dark as a bad thing. Look at it as you being what they say. If you look in the dark, that's when the project focus.